whether you're talking about democracy. You can even look over the past week where Donald Trump's talking about arresting his political opponents.
Yeah.
He tried to pressure Disney because of your jokes.
He believes CBS should have their license revoked.
Because he doesn't like how they edited a 60 Minutes package. How concerned are you?
Melania Trump was so criticized for using what turned out to be a portion of your speech. But do you have any sympathy? Because there are people around her creating things, and, you know, I have some sympathy for her. Do you understand how that might be sympathetic for what happened to her?
Yeah, that was tough.
Let me tell you about the time Michelle Obama and Jimmy Kimmel tag-teamed Donald Trump so hard that he's still mad about it years later. We're talking about roasts so brutal, so perfectly executed, that Trump couldn't even respond without looking worse. This isn't just comedy. This is political warfare disguised as entertainment, and Trump lost. Badly. Let me take you back to when it all went down, because these moments, they're the kind of savage takedowns that make you rewind just to watch someone get demolished again.
Many were surprised to see Darth Renovator on 60 Minutes. You know, 1 year after suing 60 Minutes for editing an interview, Trump sits down with 60 Minutes for an edited interview. Norah O'Donnell pressed the president on a number of issues, but his message was clear. Me, good. Biden, bad.
They've seen their grocery prices go up, inflation.
No, you're wrong. They went up under Biden. This was because of Biden. We've accepted all of these people because of Biden's open border policy. I put tariffs on China, but Biden let it lapse. What Biden did to our country should never, ever be forgotten. That was Joe Biden's war, not my war. We have no inflation. Biden had inflation and he didn't have tariffs. Look what happened to our country by having Biden as the president. Our country went to hell.
Yes, it did. And you were the Uber driver who brought us there.
Michelle Obama. It has shaken me to my core. October 2016. The Access Hollywood tape just dropped, and America heard Donald Trump bragging about grabbing women. Most politicians gave the standard "that's inappropriate" response and moved on, not Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama walked onto that stage in New Hampshire and delivered what might be the single most devastating political speech in modern American history. And here's what made it so brutal. She made it personal.
So let me be as honest and clear as I possibly can. Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot be who we need him to be for us. It is what it is.
I have to tell you that I can't stop thinking about this, Michelle said, and you could hear the emotion in her voice. It has shaken me to my core in a way that I couldn't have predicted. The First Lady of the United States just told you that Donald Trump's words physically disturbed her. That's not political theater. That's genuine disgust. Then she went for the throat. This was not just a lewd conversation. This wasn't just locker room banter. This was a powerful individual speaking freely and openly about sexually predatory behavior.
He's gunning for our journalists too. He's suing them. He's bullying them. Over the weekend, his foxy friend Pete Hegseth announced a new policy that requires journalists with Pentagon press credentials to sign a pledge promising not to report information that hasn't been explicitly authorized for release. That includes unclassified information. They want to pick and choose what the news is. I know that's not as interesting as muzzling a comedian, but it's so important to have a free press, and it is nuts that we aren't paying more attention to it. Walter Cronkite must be spinning in his grave right now. He's dead, right? Yeah. Look, I never imagined...
And actually bragging about kissing and groping women. Boom. She didn't call it inappropriate. She called it what it was, sexual predatory behavior, on national television, while campaigning for Hillary Clinton. But Michelle wasn't done destroying him. She connected Trump's words to every woman's lived experience. It is cruel. It's frightening. And the truth is, it hurts. It hurts. It's like that sick, sinking feeling you get when you're walking down the street minding your own business and some guy yells out vulgar words about your body.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple. Just like dominoes, one by one, they'll go down.
That was also in 2022. And I wonder, how did that guy turn into this guy?
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
Well, a lot of people, anybody could replace him. The guy had no talent. Kimmel had, look, he was fired. He had no talent. It's a whack job, but he had no talent. And more importantly than talent, he had no, because a lot of people have no talent, they get ratings. But he had no ratings.
Well, I do tonight.
If you're loving this deep dive into how comedians and politicians have been roasting Trump for decades, smash that subscribe button. We're covering 20 plus years of savage moments the mainstream media won't touch. Every woman watching that speech knew exactly what Michelle was talking about. She took Trump's locker room talk defense and absolutely annihilated it by connecting it to the real fear and disgust women feel when men like Trump think they can do whatever they want. And here's the kicker. Trump couldn't really respond. What was he going to say?
Trump that Obama isn't openly criticizing is Melania Trump.
Is the current First Lady, how do you think she is doing in defining who she is?
You know, one of the things you learn as a former, it's like, I don't judge what a current is doing, you know. So I'd prefer not to, you know, speak on what she's doing versus what I did.
And although Obama hosted Trump for a brief welcome tea at the White House after the election, telling her that she was available for advice anytime should Trump need her, Obama's phone has remained silent.
I know that Laura Bush reached out to you and said, if you need any help, I'm a phone call away.
Yep.
You wrote about how, and have talked about how you extended that same courtesy to Melania Trump. Has she reached out to you and asked for any help?
No, she hasn't.
He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly. He might have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now.
Actually, the First Lady is wrong. Grabbing women is cool. His campaign sent out some weak statements, but Trump himself went quiet because Michelle Obama just morally obliterated him on national television, and there was no comeback. She kept hammering him too. A week later in Arizona, she gave another speech about Trump refusing to say he'd accept the election results. When a presidential candidate threatens to ignore our voices and reject the outcome of this election, he is threatening the very idea of America itself.
With your support on November 5th, you know what's nasty to me? Michelle Obama. I always tried to be so nice and respectful. Oh, she opened up a little bit of a box. She opened up a little bit of something. Oh, she was nasty. Ooh. Shouldn't be that way. That was a big mistake that she made. With your support on November 5th, we will achieve success that no one can imagine. We will have the strongest economy, the most secure borders, the safest cities, the most powerful military, the best trade deals. We will dominate the frontiers of science, medicine, business, technology, and space.
Is that it looks like the federal government, which is entirely controlled by the Republican Party, is going to shut down in about 20 minutes. Anything?
She saw Trump trying to undermine democracy before most people even understood what he was doing, and she called it out with surgical precision. The birther revenge. I will never forgive him. But wait, there's more. Because 2 years later, Michelle Obama released her memoir, Becoming, and she came for Trump's throat again. She wrote about Trump's birther conspiracy, the racist lie that Barack Obama wasn't born in America. Michelle called it deliberately meant to stir up the wingnuts and kooks.
The president and his allies are trying to tap into that frustration and distract from his breathtaking failures by giving folks someone to blame other than them. They're stoking fears about Black and brown Americans, lying about how minorities will destroy the suburbs, whipping up violence and intimidation. And they're pinning it all on what's been an overwhelmingly peaceful movement for racial solidarity. It's true. Research backs it up. Only a tiny fraction of demonstrations have had any violence at all. So what the president is doing is once again patently false. It's morally wrong. And yes, it is racist. But that doesn't mean it won't work.
But then she wrote something that made headlines everywhere. Donald Trump, with his loud and reckless innuendos, was putting my family's safety at risk. And for this, I'd never forgive him. Never forgive him. Not, it was unfortunate. Not, we've moved past it. Never forgive him. That's a level of personal animosity that you rarely see in political memoirs. Michelle Obama basically said, "This man endangered my children with his racist conspiracy theories, and I will hate him forever for it." When she went on Jimmy Kimmel's show to promote the book, she doubled down on everything.
But here's the thing. For those who think I go too hard on Donald Trump, to the point where there are still a lot of people who think I should be pulled off the air for making fun of Donald Trump. So I want to explain. I talk about Trump more than anything because he's a bully. I don't like bullies. I played the clarinet in high school, okay? So I just don't like him. Donald Trump is an old-fashioned 80s movie-style bully, taking your lunch money. And if you give it to him once, he'll take it again. Two things he loves, lunch and money, okay? He will take that peanut butter and jelly sandwich your mom cut in half like a triangle for you. He will gobble it up in front of your face, and then he'll eat your little Ziploc bag of Oreos, too. And he'll take the note your mother put in your lunchbox, and he'll read it aloud to everyone. "Oh, look, Mommy loves her little boy." And then he'll smile with a bunch of cookies in his teeth. And he'll grab you by your nipples, and he'll twist them until you have 2 holes in your Le Tigre shirt because your parents couldn't afford an Izod. And he'll stuff you in a locker, and he'll stomp on your trapper keeper and slam the door. That is Donald Trump, okay? He does it to everyone. He did it at the UN yesterday. Rooting for this bully, I don't care what side you're on, it's like rooting for Biff from Back to the Future. Literally, Donald Trump was the model for Biff in Back to the Future. And this is who people are cheering for? I don't know about you, I'm with Marty McFly.
Trump had made her family a target, and she wanted everyone to know that she hadn't forgotten and she wasn't letting it go. Trump's response? He tried to claim he'd fixed the birther issue by forcing Obama to release his birth certificate, which is like breaking someone's arm and then taking credit for calling the ambulance Barack Obama's legendary mic drop. Now let's talk about the moment that lives in internet history forever, October 24th, 2016. 2 weeks before the election, Barack Obama appears on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
I'm happy to send you one of the many products commemorating what I said to you that night at the Academy Awards, so you never forget it again, like this T-shirt or this coffee mug or this coffee mug or this coffee mug. There are a lot of coffee mugs. Maybe you'd like a hat or a wine goblet. If you ever see Melania again, you can give that to her. Or perhaps you would like a bandana to put around your necks or a sign to put on every hole of your golf course. I'd be happy to send you any or all of those items. Just let me know. They're my gift. And also, for the record, my manager wasn't trying to talk me out of responding. This is my manager. His name is James Baby Doll Dixon. He was backstage vaping when this happened. But since you think my wife gives good advice, maybe here she is with some advice. Molly, please.
Kimmel has this segment called Mean Tweets, where celebrities read mean tweets about themselves. Usually it's pretty lighthearted. Celebrities laugh at themselves, make jokes, everyone has a good time. But Obama's reading along, Barack Obama dances like how his jeans look. Obama is the Nickelback of presidents. And he's laughing, making jokes. Then he gets to the last tweet. You can see his face change, because the last tweet isn't from some random Twitter troll. President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States, Obama reads. Exclamation point at real Donald Trump.
Donald, thank you for your support. And I'm glad I have your attention because 1 in 3 women currently in this country is living under an abortion ban because you stacked our Supreme Court. Thanks to you, women in 21 states can't make their own choice about their own life and their own body. And 10 U.S. states make no exceptions for rape or incest. The party you run so bigly and so beautifully, the party that cares so much about motherhood, just blocked a bill that would protect our access to IVF. Women are dying and good doctors are quitting because they can't get or give the reproductive care women desperately need. So my advice for you is to shut up and go away.
The audience gasps. Because that's not comedy. That's the Republican presidential nominee attacking the sitting president. Obama looks directly at the camera, and with absolutely perfect timing, he delivers the kill shot. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president. Then he drops the phone like a mic and walks away. The place absolutely erupts. People are screaming. The applause is deafening because Obama just predicted Trump's worst nightmare, that he might actually lose, that all his bragging and bullying might amount to nothing.
Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. In addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso. Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast. Brendan Carr is the most embarrassing car Republicans have embraced since this one.
And here's what makes it so savage. Obama said it with Trump's own words. Trump called him the worst president ever, and Obama basically responded, yeah, but at least I'm actually president, which is more than you might ever be. That moment has been viewed millions of times online. It's been turned into memes, GIFs, reaction videos. It's the political equivalent of a highlight reel knockout. This is the kind of savage, detailed content you won't find anywhere else. Like this video and share it. We're fighting to bring you Trump-critical roasts they don't want going viral.